Welcome to Bonesaw Poker. I am Brad. Let's get into it.
So this episode is going to be poker quotes, and then kind of my interpretation of them, because some of them are kind of vague, some of them are not. But so we're going to kick it off with the first one. Is there's never a good time to play bad poker, and I got that one from Pete Clark from Carrot Corner, who's got a poker training website. And that one, I have to remind myself oftentimes when I'm card dead to try to remember that quote, because the problem is when I'm card dead, I start playing garbage hands, and I always pay for it. Always, every time. Play bad poker, lose money. That's just how it is. So there's probably other times that phrase works for. If you got some examples, put it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And the other one you could probably use that in is in the small blind, completing in the small blind, or playing way too many hands out of the small blind just because you're priced in. And that would probably be a second example. But like I say, the first example for me is the one that really fits, and that is when I'm card dead, I keep catching myself playing garbage hands and paying for it. So that is our first one. This next quote is, "The secret to poker is figure out how to win in the game you're in," by Dewey Tomko. If you don't know who Dewey Tomko is, he was a poker player and a golfer back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Him and Doyle were golf buddies that would play high stakes golf. And he's got a couple poker WSOP bracelets, and pretty interesting. I'll link a video to his in the description. And basically what he's saying is that you can't just go in with a structured, I'm going to do this, this, and this. It is when you're at that game, the game you're in right now is the table that you're sitting at with these particular players. Figure out how to win. Figure out who you're bluffing, who you're not bluffing. Do you need to loosen up your game? Do you need to tighten up your game? And things like that. So when I was first going down and playing live cash, I played super tight, very robotic. I knew exactly what starting hands I was playing. I wasn't playing anything other than that. I had my exact pre-flop strategy, and I did not budge. And I knew exactly how each flop rolled out. I had 6 different flop types memorized and what I would do on each one. Yes, very structured. The thing about it is I didn't make any money, because everybody just folded to me because I had almost no bluffs, and I just value bet, and I hardly played anything. So as soon as Nick threw some money in, everybody just tossed their cards away, unless they could beat me. So that's not the winning combination for playing poker. The winning combination is figuring out how in this particular game to win. So I know that's an oversimplification, but I think it's a good broad picture of what the mentality needs to be when you sit down at the game. It's not, I'm going to play this strict structure. It's, okay, who's doing what, and what do I need to do in this particular game to win? And so like on some of that last session I played, is I definitely been playing the players more now than I used to in the past. But on this one is, sometimes you just need to start getting some chips in the middle with certain players. And when you do, you do. So that is the Dewey Tomko quote. You got to give action to get action. Doyle Brunson. Now you can interpret that how you will. In my opinion is that you have to be willing to put chips in the middle. That doesn't mean that you play reckless, play bad hands, but that people can see that you're going to put chips in. You're going to put them in pre-flop. That you're not afraid to put chips in post-flop. That you're not just super nit, limping in and waiting for the nuts. That if you want to get paid, you got to be willing to put some money in, and you got to be willing to bluff. And that's my interpretation of it. So put down in the comments what you think you got to give action to get action means to you. So our next quote comes from Stu Unger. What am I supposed to do with two aces? I can win a small pot or lose a big pot. So Stu Unger was one of the greats back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and kind of tells you what he feels about the pocket pairs. So put in the comments what you think about that statement, and I'll see you in the next one. Live 1-2 games are always good. Landon Tice. Now this one comes from Berkey's Only Friends podcast, and it was a conversation they're having about when is a good time to leave a game. And the subject was that, well, if the game's so good, you just can't leave. And it's like, well, but if you're playing live 1-2, the games are always good. So for live 1-2, that statement doesn't really hold, because next time you show up, it's going to be good as well. And if any of you play live 1-2, you know, on an 8-person table, there might be 1 or 2 other competent players, but the rest aren't. And that's at any given time. So telling yourself that you can't leave because the game's too good to leave when you're playing live 1-2, I agree with Tice. It's, you know, you're just justifying hanging out and playing more. Which, hey, if that's what you want to do, great. But live 1-2, the games are always good.
For Bonesaw Poker, I'm Brad. Thanks for watching. And remember, everything you want is on the other side of fear.